Good.
Call the Winfield Planning Commission order. The time is now 6 o'clock. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Down in the city today.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
John Dowinski.
Present.
Mark Nelson.
Present.
Tim Clayton.
Present.
Dave Anderson.
Yep.
Joe Gacy.
Here.
Jim Hajic.
Here.
Phil Metzger.
Here.
Michael Duffy.
Here.
Brian Dwightmeyer.
Here.
Deborah Gritters. Here. Nick Beller.
Here. Thank you very much. You have the minutes from the two meetings of July 10th and June 12th in front of you. Are there any recommendations or comments from the board?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes of June 12th, 2025 and July 10th, 2025 as written.
Thank you. There's a motion by Tim. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Phil. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very well. We have no old business, so moving on to new business. Item number 1. This is a public hearing and a recommendation to the Town Council. Docket PC 2025-09, a zone change for Valera Estates. This is from agricultural to R1 zoning. Located at 8401 East 101st Avenue, and the petitioner owner is Anthony Valera. So before we begin, I'd like to ask, has this been officially notified in the paper, noticed, and is everything correct?
Yes, it was published in the newspaper and official mailers were certified mailers were mailed out
Sounds good, thank you. So we will continue.
for both hearings.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
One more, that's pretty good.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Again, my name is Anthony Valera, and the purpose of me being here today is hopefully get your recommendation for a zone change and then also a primary plat approval. As Ms. Gritters stated, earlier this month, with sufficient time, I went ahead and mailed out certified mailers to those addresses within a 300-foot radius of my property, and then I also returned the affidavits from the Times reference to zone change and also the primary plat approval.
Very good. Is there anything you'd like to present for this project?
New and I guess most important, according to last meeting, I think the biggest question was the master drainage plan, which I went ahead and I gave you the second sheet of paper. It should be master drainage plan that MEC Engineering, this is sheet number 3, I submitted to the town the entire engineering plan, but I thought most important to give you guys sheet 3 here, which shows the homestead on the middle of the property on a hill, shows a driveway, and then basically the engineering drawing from Mecca that shows 2 swales. The first swale is going to be to the west side of the property, and it basically comes in from the very back of the house all the way north up to the ditchway, and that's for on-site runoff. And then if you look to the east, the same swale towards the back of the house going forward north, and that's for off-site runoff. The back of the property south to where my property line is undisturbed, and according to MEC Engineering, there's not going to be any difference in water drainage, and there's no need to add any detention areas or swales in that area.
Okay.
Mike, have you looked at this?
Yeah.
Do you have comments?
I'll probably have Mecca make a few tweaks to it, but for the most part, what it's doing is it's picking up the house water and conveying it up to the ditch, up to the front, so that way it can be conveyed over to the creek.
That disturbance.
What about the water to the west, specifically over lots 180 and 189? So from the base to the top of that hill is 12 feet.
Yeah, they're putting a swale along the west side of the property to capture their runoff, to convey it to the front.
Okay, and Nick, I sent you or John, I should say, but I sent you and Nick a letter, a remonstrance letter. So just put that into the record, I'm not going to read it. The concern from the lot owners over there on that side, because of the height, and this is why I'm asking the question, Mike, is that you have 12 feet, water runs down there now. In that letter, I believe, or in that email, there should be some, I believe there's some pictures in there of it flooding in the back of those yards. I think it's 188, 189, probably 190's in there. So their concern is that the water, and I'm only looking at the arrows, not that you can see the arrows from here, but that those arrows show it as a straight water moving in that direction down. So the concern, that's why I'm asking, is the concern is based on these arrows, it looks like it's gonna come right back down to where it's at, so. And create a problem.
Well, I don't think the home, how can I put this? The lot that's being developed, if they're capturing the extra water that they're pushing off of their house.
Right, well, I mean, you got the roof, you got, it right, you have non-porous, you got the roof, more water's gonna catch, gutters come out,
Yeah, but
So water's gonna be
just as long
directed.
as that water's directed to the swale, I'm probably gonna have Mecca pull those back a little bit farther, and as well as probably change the roadside culvert size that they put in, just because I think we've been sticking to 15 inches the minimum, and I think they have 12. But those are more site plan approval type things. This captures, I think, the request of what the plan commission was as far as coming up with a overall plan of dealing with the additional runoff from the house. As far as the existing condition goes, when this goes to grass, it's going to went fully grass lawn. Now, I haven't seen the pictures that you're referring to, Dave. I don't know if that was submitted to me.
No, I didn't send it to you, I just sent it to them.
Okay.
So, just, I wanted to put it in the record,
Yeah. Well, if there's specific concerns that the
They
residents have
couldn't be-
identified, we can always capture a lot of that with the site plan approval.
Yeah, they couldn't be here tonight, so I'm like, well, just send me the email with what your concerns are, I'll make sure it gets entered into the record officially. And I just explained that they have, I explained engineering, all that stuff. Yeah, so I just want to be able to go back to them and say that, yes, you're not going to, there will be no additional water than what was previously there. That's really all I'm after.
And if anything, it sounds like that swale might make it even better for the rear yards.
It should, and I don't know the exact material that's out there now, you guys would know, but if it's a maintained grass lawn, typically the runoff is less than any other crop type.
What's out there now? What's out there now is a weed pit.
Yeah, it's 4 feet of weeds. It's all
It's weeds. John lives on the other side of it.
The water should
So
go from that.
typically this will also help that situation too, if it's a maintained yard.
And then the only other, so, no problem, I mean, if you're good with it,
I think the main thing here is, this is not approving the house, right, Nick? We still have to submit a grading plan for the physical home
Yeah, there would
construction.
still be an entire house permit through the building department that would have to be submitted in. Some additional review based off of what you're saying right
Public
now.
hearing.
yeah, I'm just asking a question.
It was my suggestion to Mecca too, if I can speak for a minute, that we pull back at least the west swale,
Yeah.
back just a little bit to cover maybe another
You're right.
I'd
20,
like-
30, 40 feet from the house.
I'd like to get it to as far back as we can pull it. And I can work with
Okay.
Mecca on that, as far as what the grade will
Okay.
get it to us. It's not gonna get us substantially farther back, but I think we can
Sure.
probably get at least to the 189, 190 lot line. And then that way, anything that gets graded in the yard, and we can take care of that with spot grading with the home permit to make
Sure.
sure that it's pushing it west and north.
Does anybody know, or does this point commission know if Doubletree has done anything about that runoff? So technically, it's, they're paying an association fee. Have they done any engineering to mitigate water runoff from that property? Or have they just let it go for 20 years?
So that's not Doubletree's property.
Right, they didn't own it, so.
They
Okay,
never owned it,
okay.
so therefore, whoever owned it, let it go for
Okay.
20 years. But, yeah.
Any other technical questions before we open this up? Okay, at this time, I'd like to open this up to the public. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here that'd like to speak on behalf of this docket item? Please stand up, go to the podium. Anybody? Going the last time? Okay, at this time, we'll close the public hearing for this and bring it back to the board for any other final discussion or recommendations or comments. This is, we're taking these independently, this would be the zone change only at this time.
I have nothing.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion
So moved.
to
Oh,
give a favorable recommendation to the town
yeah,
council.
what you said.
So that's a favorable recommendation to the town
That's what I
council.
said.
Okay, is there a second?
I thought you said that, so I was like, oh, so moved.
There's a second by Mark. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very well, thank you. Moving on to new item number 2. This is a public hearing and recommendation to the town council, docket PC 2025-10, primary plat approval for Valera Estates. This is a one-lot subdivision, same vicinity, 841 East 101st Avenue, and Anthony Valera is here to speak on behalf of this.
I just wanted to say real quick that this is not a recommendation of the town council. You would be approving the plat. Typo.
The zone change was, though.
Yeah, the zone change.
Okay,
is.
gotcha.
Yeah, the primary plat is not.
All right, so this is just, okay, so this is actual approval. Because it's a, what they call a minor subdivision, is that right?
It's still, even if it was a major subdivision,
Still
primary
makes sense.
plat approval, that's under the authority of the plan commission
Okay.
exclusively.
Thank you. And again, this has been properly advertised?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Blair, anything you'd like to add on this?
Not at all, sir. I think we talked about it.
I agree. Are there any questions? Okay, at this time, we will open this up to a public hearing for the primary plat approval for the one-lot subdivision for Valera Estates. Is there anyone in the room that'd like to speak for or against, or any comments? Seeing nobody, I'll like to close the public hearing at this time. I'll bring it back to the board with any comments or recommendations or questions.
There's one more comment. Last time we talked about connecting to the sewer and to the water. So I just like to,
That is notated on this plat.
yeah,
The note on their water and sanitary sewer service to be provided by Indiana American Water in town of Winfield.
correct,
So that is notated on the plat.
perfect.
I will say, I was contacted by a contractor, I have not seen anything on paper yet, but a contractor did call me to discuss the tie-in. So I don't know where that's at right now, but somebody did call me.
A quick question, Mike, then, since we are, a whole lot or a couple hundred feet away, would that be an extension of the sewer and then a lateral connection, or would it just be a,
He thought he was going to be able to do it with just a regular gravity lateral, as opposed to even a pump system, based on the depth. So that way he didn't have to get into the road. Like I said, I haven't seen anything formally submitted yet, so, but just as long as we're not extending a main, it won't be a main extension, it will be a lateral extension.
so then basically anything east of here wouldn't be able to connect without extending the main?
Not unless that was determined that was the requirement to be done.
Do we understand? Okay. Thank you. Okay, well, I will entertain a motion for the primary plat approval. Either way.
Make a motion that we approve the primary plat for Valera Estates.
There's a motion by Dave, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jim. All right, you beat you to it. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very well. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time.
So that's conditional upon them tying in the sanitary as it.
Well, it's conditional, yes, you have to connect,
Yeah.
conditional, that's why I brought it up, and it is notated,
On the plat.
yeah.
I mean, it's on the plat, so as long as it's on the plat that's been approved, you're good.
Yeah, which is why, I think Tim jumped in
Yeah,
and said it's on the, as long as it's on the plat, that's all I cared about.
it's legal and binding there, so.
Great. Who's got the second?
Bill's got it. I know, Bill. Bill's got it.
Don't worry.
Okay, moving on, we have item number 3, request for public hearing, docket PC 2025-11, zone change is Huron Landing, Ag to R1, owners Donald Gray, petitioners Lennar, in this vicinity of 5510 East 117th Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the record, and those that may not know me, my name is Todd Clevin. I am the Vice President of Land for Lennar Homes. Our offices reside at 1700 East Gulf Road, Schaumburg. I am also a Crown Point resident, as well as majority of my team here is locally residing. And as you all know, I formerly used to reside in Winfield, which my family still does. I'm here this evening for 2 petitions, and for the sake of time and the long agenda, I would like to ask for the second petition that whatever is said from myself, at least, during this petition is just entered into the second petition, rather than having to reiterate everything. Quick introduction, as I said, my name myself is Todd Clevin. Our entitlements manager, Luke Fricke, is here. Andrea Tommy is our land acquisition manager. Our attorney at law is Todd Leith, and our lead engineer is also in the room, Brad Moore, all sitting in the front row. We are here this evening seeking a rezone, and the second petition would be the primary plat. Just a little history on the property. I'm going to go way back. When we achieved the 515 homes in Aylesworth, shortly after that, this subject property in front of you this evening we had under contract. And shortly after that, the temperature of the development in Winfield, I felt, changed. So we exited that acquisition contract. 204 days ago, on January 22nd, we officially unveiled this to your staff. 30 or 45 days, maybe 60 days prior to that is when I received a phone call from your staff, and they called me and said, Todd, we're entertaining development again. I don't know if it was pursuant to your sewer treatment plant, but I did receive that phone call, and my initial response was, I don't think that we can give Winfield what they're looking for. And I was told to put something together. As you know, Aylesworth, 515 homes, had narrow home sites, smaller home sites, and I knew the request of this board and the council were for larger home sites. So we went ahead and engaged the property seller, and we were successful in entering a new contract. With that, we unveiled our proposal on January 22nd to Nick and your staff. At that time, we had a little bit larger home sites than what we have in Aylesworth, but they were not what was required per what we were being told. We went back to the drawing board. I have a lot of pride, I have a lot of respect for what we did at Aylesworth. I said, let's give them what they want. You asked for 80 by 150 home sites. We then immediately were in front of you, this board, as a workshop on February 13th. The only thing that may have changed from then till now was a little bit of entrance configuration down here. We were trying to get some smaller home sites to the north and offer cottage homes. We were told Winfield wants 0 additional cottage homes, make them all by 80, 150. So that board changed by a little bit, increased the lot sizes. New boards that came later on where the entrance is. But one board that never changed was this board here. This board never changed from day one. That's the product. We'll get to that in a little bit here. Going back to the timeline, we then went back in front of staff on May 14th. That's when we tweaked we went back in front of staff on March 13th. Again on May 14th. And then we were back in front of this board on June 12th. At that time, we reiterated everything about the home site size, the home site value, the potential roundabout, and how we have the spirit of cooperation to work with you on that. And I specifically asked, now's the time to pull the trigger. When I leave this room, we're going to put $450,000 into this project, and that's exactly what we did. And we were officially at the meeting, the TAC meeting, on July 29th. Mr. Anderson, you were present at that meeting. Mr. Beaver, I think, was present at one of the other staff meetings. I think it might have been March 13th. Again, nothing changed other than the geometry and meeting the requirement for these large home sites. 204 days ago is when we unveiled this. 203 days ago That was yesterday. I was approached and said $700,000 homes. Oh, this will not get approved. I was shocked because I don't think that's good business. Why wasn't I told that 204 days ago? Why was I told 203 days ago, $450,000 later, that this will not get approved unless we bring in $700,000 homes? Furthermore, we talked about our contribution to the roundabout. The number that we're going to contribute, which is also in the proposed PDR, everybody heard, and I was told it's a good number. That number equates to about $2,000 a lot. I was asked for $15,000 a lot. 1 day ago. On the 203rd day, I was asked for $15,000 a lot. Now, let the record show Winfield does not have an impact fee. This was out of the spirit of cooperation to contribute. And I don't want to go down a bad road and talk about the past, but we reached an agreement on Aylesworth. Taft Junior High, within a week of opening, was unable to flush a toilet. We're not greedy developers, we're partners. You're looking at the one and only that made sure Taft could flush a toilet. 2 years before Taft even put a shell in the ground, you're looking at the entity that assisted with Taft in order to go vertical. Again, this is not about greed, this is about partnership, and this is about a win-win situation. Moving forward, due to my meeting yesterday, I thought for sure this would be a 3-slide PowerPoint. Unfortunately, it's now about 50. I could stop. What I heard yesterday is only the opinion of one person, but I have a feeling it's not because I was told to defer and not bring it in front of you. But that's not what I was told on February 13th in front of this board, and furthermore on June 12th. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. Lennar Communities, 5 years ago I joined Lennar, and I was handed several sites and said they were struggling with getting them approved. I take great pride in what I do in Northwest Indiana. I personally live here. 7 of these communities in front of you were acquisitions that were before I joined them, and we brought them all to fruition. My main flagship, personally, that I take the most pride in is Aylesworth. Nobody's perfect. Nick, you know that. And we had some hiccups out there. We're always going to have hiccups. Everybody does their job. Every day has hiccups. It's how we address those hiccups. And we addressed, or I personally addressed every one. I try to stay in my lane with other departments, but not when I'm behind the board making promises to each and every one of you. And every time Nick called me, we addressed it. And I got a phone call saying the lift station's not on track. We need to get it done. And I put my job in line and said, get it done. Taft is coming. Again, I'm not bragging. I just take great pride in that. And you have that same commitment in front of you this evening. The subject property is shown to you right now in the aerial view highlighted in yellow. We all know our southeast corner is approximately at the intersection of Gibson and 117th Avenue. It resides, it's adjoined north by Windance as well as the southwest corner of the jog of Aylesworth. Zooming in a little bit more here, you can see subject property highlighted in yellow. To the northwest is Windance, to the northeast is Aylesworth. First and foremost, you have my commitment. The very first thing we're going to do is connect that road, Gibson, to get relieve traffic from Randolph and State Street and Benton and bring another thoroughfare from 109th down to 117th, continuing down Gibson. This was all shown to you at the previous meetings, as I indicated. The concept plan, other than a little bit of reconfiguration and enlarging the home sites, this is the same concept plan that you've seen at the last Plan Commission meeting. We're proposing 146 home sites that measure 80 by 150. And here's the big one, 27% open space with walking paths, wet pines, fountains at the entrances. Pretty much every home site backs up to open space. The project consists of 81 acres, 146 single-family home sites. That equates to 1.81 units per acre. 1.81. We really don't ever get that wrong unless you go into well and septic. They all measure 80 by 150, and again, that's 25% open space. There's also some pictures showing the existing conditions of this community, proposed community. This is right on the PDR that we proposed, again, the 80 by 150, 12,000 square foot minimum. We were asked at the last TAC meeting to increase our front yard setback to 30 feet, in which we obliged. We were asked about the square footage of the homes. Again, reiterating all of those meetings that we had, staff and plan commission, we were always told 1,800 is the minimum for a single story, 21 for the two-story, which the product that we chose for this community meets those minimum square footages. I'd like to take some time and reintroduce you to your comprehensive plan. I know it's 2 years old. Most communities, it's 20, 25 years old. This one's only 2 years old, so it should be very fresh in many of your minds, because everybody on this board, I believe, was here when this was voted upon. The council, 4 of the 5 members are still here. 1 member is no longer here, but everybody on the plan commission was here during the proposal of this comprehensive plan. I believe we broke it down into 2 areas, priority number 1 and priority number 2. This property resides in priority number 1. If you go on and continue to read through this, priority number 1 is basically saying that the town's focus is on the said area that I just referenced, and that's the area that we reside in. Moving forward through your comprehensive plan, 74% of the homes are valued above $250,000 in Winfield. Here in Landing, the subject property in front of you this evening surpasses that by double. Our average home site price is $500,000. Moving forward, as you know, this comprehensive plan was configured. It not only was your staff and yourselves, but you invited the public. I commend you for that. The public came in, and their key focuses were trails and connectivity, lower density, desire for additional retail and commercial, address road congestion, integrate planned corridor improvements, and preserve green space. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but everything that I said earlier meets every one of those key concerns. Let's dive into those concerns a little bit more. These were the questions that were directly asked to those individuals. And if you look at this, they rated on a percentage from 0 to 80%. What percentage of the individuals that were in this room address these concerns? And I put stars by everyone in which here in Landing will address. Local businesses. Right now, Winfield has grown. Believe me, I was born and moved here in 1982. Well, I moved here in 82. I was born in 77. And I think we had 1 gas station, maybe 2. And I say we because I'm a former resident and I still visit my family who lives here. You've come a long way. You've got McDonald's, Taco Bell, Wendy's, all the stuff they follow is rooftops. The concern of the residents that were interviewed want high-end eatery. They want high-end businesses. Crown Point, I've been developing there for 30 years, had a 30-year boom with the exception of the recession. They are just now starting to see larger franchises come in. If it wasn't for the rooftops and it wasn't for the doubling of the population, they'd still be sitting with a McDonald's on Main Street and a Burger King by Jewel. That's my true professional opinion. Other things that they were asking for, you can see that the local business was over 50%. Makes sense. Parks and open space, walkability, utilities infrastructure, I just referenced that, public safety. All things in which I think this community in front of you, I request that you take in strong consideration that we're meeting these. These are all out of your master plan. I didn't write this. I didn't even vote on it. The board in front of me voted on it, and the residents of Winfield voted. And we're trying to follow them as best we can. A few more questions I'm going to go through. Balanced growth and residential commercial development. I would say 1.81 units per acre, and all those meetings 204 days ago meet balanced growth. I didn't walk in front of you and try to slam 55-foot wide home sites in front of you. We worked together over several meetings. High-quality, single-family detached housing. I took a lot of flack for proposing this because today's economy, when I was in front of you during Ellsworth, interest rates were 3%. Now they're 7%. The home price to live in those homes, the monthly payment have doubled since I stood in front of you before. High-quality commercial development. Again, rooftops been there. Preservation and promotion of green space, 27% within our community that we're proposing. Just a few more here. When asked all the residents that came to this meeting, we're looking for mid-range housing options for young professionals. Dave, you mentioned yourself, you want to see nurses buy these homes. You go to the other highlighted column, housing for community local workforce, including teachers, police, officers, firefighters, and others. I haven't met personally asked any of those individuals what they make a year, but I've got a pretty good idea what they make. And we might speak to that a little bit here as well. Last slide of all the questions that were asked. Again, what type of retail developments do you feel your community needs more of in the future? Grocery stores, restaurants, specialized local stores, professional services. Again, I understand, I've been doing this a long time. I'm here now, shut the doors, nobody in my backyard. I completely understand that, but it's planned developments. It's what can the development and the developer do for the community. I've always stood in front of you and offered our assistance in doing that. I think the last one talks about the park trails. You're all familiar with this, the bike lanes. We're proposing all that, trails to the community, parks and open spaces, bike lanes, 109th Avenue, 117th Avenue, helping bring all that to fruition. I guess there's more. Infrastructure and public services. You can see all these things. Quality internet service. Quality internet's not going to install any infrastructure. You can't even get the internet service to move the lines off of the poles on 117th, the saw-off poles that have been there for 3 years. 3 years those lines have been there. It's just a phone call. I'll make it if you ask me to make it. That's your gateway to the community. We're worried about $700,000 homes. We have sawed-off power poles with communication lines still residing along the highway. I just think it looks bad. Emergency services. All the tax dollars helped us out. You go into other questions, roads, sidewalks. These are all important things that were brought up and voted on by this board. Winfield Max Homes that may appeal to young professionals, that nurse that you referenced. You want them to buy a house here. I'm pretty sure they can't afford a $700,000 home. At peak times, Winfield roadways cannot handle large volumes of traffic. That is no stranger to anybody. Again, we're going to connect 109th to 117th Avenue through the spirit of cooperation, and you have my commitment that that would go in the very first thing. Before you even see a house go vertical, we would make that connection. Here are more things that I just picked up on your master plan that you guys voted on. Public green space parkland. Despite these challenges, it would be necessary for the town to grow in order to fund services, maintain, expand roads, and support local businesses. During my lunch yesterday with a local councilman, I was very disturbed because it made it sound like Winfield's okay not growing, but they no longer need the building permit fees. Well, that's because the law gave you $6 million in building permit fees over the last 3 years. I mean, that's great. What happens when that runs out? Right here in your master plan, it says, despite these challenges, it will be necessary for the town to grow in order to fund services, maintain, expand roads, and support local businesses. That's economy 101. I'm glad to see that your comprehensive plan picked it up. Some other key points. Some new development is important to sustain and improve public services. Without any new development, the town will be limited in its ability to increase revenues and address challenges that many residents describe, such as the need for roadway improvements and deal with increased traffic flows. These aren't my words. This is your master plan. Winfield should be working and raising awareness of the benefits of having a diverse land use pattern to mitigate negative public reaction to development. I have no problem speaking to him. I'll speak to him at the public hearing. I don't put the burden on you. I mean, it's a very tough pill to swallow, I understand. But go look at communities. Crown Point did in 2004. They wanted $700,000 home. Put Cedar Lake on the map, didn't it? I was one of the first ones to go there. A municipality can be skipped over. I'm not threatening it. I'm going to work with you, but I'm just trying to educate the public and educate those who might not understand. It's very simple to sit back and say, oh, the developers are rich, the developers are rich. I personally cannot afford a $700,000 home. Let's let the record show that. Yeah, if I didn't have a kid in college, I didn't have a car payment, and I didn't have a wardrobe like I like to, I could probably afford one. But it's very difficult, a single man making to afford a $700,000 home. Last but not least, if Winfield wants to retain young professionals, newly established families, retired residents, I understand you feel you have enough cottages, but these are on the comprehensive plan. Diversity in housing types could be supported moving forward. That's enough of the quotes out here. Let's go right back over to the traffic pattern. Again, I stood up and said, I'm giving you everything you're asking for. I easily could have said, we're not putting in Gibson Street. Fought it. I'd have been right out of here. We're not connecting to the east. Could have fought that. You asked for it. Your comprehensive plan requires it. We're meeting it. All these items that I'm referring to, I'm going to start speeding up, are quantified and characterized as medium to high priority. Everything that I just talked about is a medium, not only what medium to high priority is, but you have a developer standing in front of you this evening looking to meet all this. If it's a high priority, I can bring it to fruition very quick. This one here, high priority, 117th Avenue and Gibson Street. The existing adjacent zone, as you all know, it's zoned agricultural. We're here to zone it PUD. And look at that, smack dab in the middle of the comprehensive plan, you show yellow dots of these high priority future development areas. I'm not in one of the right ones, I'm not off the beaten path. I'm not asking for the municipality to bring utilities to me. We're right there in the comprehensive plan that is less than 2 years old. And it falls right in New Yellow, which is single-family residential neighborhood. Again, I'm not standing here reiterating or strong-arming you. I'm just reiterating what transpired over the 204 days. And 1 day ago, I was asked to defer and bring in $700,000 homes. It's very disturbing. Nobody likes to do business like that. I left here with the concern that I was going to have $400,000 floor mats worth of engineering. And yesterday I put my head down thinking I'm going to have $204,000 worth of floor mats for engineering. This is what we were going to do with the estates at the entrance. This would be if and when the roundabout comes. This is what it would look like. We coordinated with your staff and your engineer how we can be the chicken and not the egg. On the next slide, you can see that everything's shown in the shaded gray would be the way that we connect to the existing Gibson Street. It is offset from the section corner. That would allow us to get in, get established, get that road connected immediately. And then as the future roundabout were to come, you can see how it's a little bit offset, but we're going to dedicate plenty right away for that to fit, either contribute funds to it, and also leave enough open space there, put all the entrance monuments outside of that so nothing is impacted other than the road surface itself. And not to mention that pond to the left, it's about 10% larger, don't quote me on that, Brad, but we are willing to give Winfield enough volume so you don't have to chase detention when you build a roundabout. Let's go right into the product. We have the Riley here, which is at 2,907 square feet. Most definitely supersedes $500,000. We go to the Galveston. That's at 2,600 square feet. The Brooklyn is in descending order, 2,400 square feet. The Ontario, 2,100 square feet. And the Sienna at 1,800 square feet. We felt that we do need to have a ranch in here. Here's some pictures of our existing interiors. This last slide that I have on product is the product that was given to me yesterday saying, "Will you let me to build this?" And I'm thinking, where did this come from? It has Lennar's name on it. We have $1 million homes in other markets on the West Coast. I'm thinking, where did this come from? Well, it came from Indianapolis. It came from Carmel, Indiana. I would love to build this in your community. I'd love to live in it. Again, I couldn't afford to live in it. Definitely can't build it. If I were to build this house sold for $850,000 and it sold in 2023. Interest rates went from 3% to 7% shortly after that. Another interesting fact, in Winfield, in 2024, 342 homes sold. A lot of them were probably ours, but 342 homes sold in Winfield. 17 of those homes sold for over $600,000. 17 of them. If I were to come in here at 146 home sites and build homes over $600,000, if we were fortunate enough to capture 100% of those buyers, it would take us 9 years. I'd probably be lucky to capture 50% of them, 50% of them. That would be 18 years. More likely 25% of them. It's a 27-year project, and that's what I explained to the gentleman I was with yesterday. I hang my hat on Lennar and how they adjust to market conditions. We've all seen developments that come in the ground, and before you know it, they can't afford to carry the juice anymore. They only build 1 or 2 homes, maybe 3 if they're lucky in the last 2 years. Ask them too much. They can't afford it. It goes bankrupt. Before you know it, the bond gets pulled. Hopefully the bond is still valid at the municipality and the consultants were able to keep it live. And then it becomes a burden on the municipality. So you have all this money and infrastructure out there that you're eventually going to maintain, and there's only 2 people patronizing the local businesses. Our gross sales will equate to $73 million, 1% tax at $730,000, building permit fees 2.1, land development, land acquisition 17.1 million. Again, it's not a huge building permit generator, not like Ellsworth, I get it, but it's still $2.1 million. I really like this slide here, and I apologize it says gray. This was out of our financial documents that we proposed for corporate. It's now Heron Landing, obviously, but Heron Landing is shown in the black line. Every one of those lines below it are communities within Winfield. This is our average sale price. You can see we surpass all that. Matter of fact, we surpass it by 40%. The Winfield average individual income is $68,000, I'm rounding up. The median household income is $129,000. That's a good household income for Winfield. It really is when you look at the surrounding areas. I don't even know if St. John's that high. The median sold home in Winfield was $366,000. The community that's in front of you this evening surpasses that by 40%. Below this is some of the incomes within Winfield itself. $151,000 for management occupations, $158,000 for health, diagnosis, treatment, business financial, $107,000. When you start going into the 60s and the 30s, sales, related occupation, construction, $91,000. So you do have some high incomes in here, but as you're going to see on the next slide, they do not support $700,000 in their homes. I'm sorry, we'll do a slide after this. A mortgage on a $500,000 home in today's number, and this is with putting 20% down. So who has $100,000 to put down in a house? It's very risky for a developer to come in at $500,000. It equates to $3,400 a month. That's with taxes and insurance. The required income for a $3,400 a month house payment is $146,000. I don't want to waste your time and go back to that previous slide. There's only two boxes that were above $146,000. Now, let's look at a $700,000 house. The one I was asked to build in Winfield requires a $4,500 a month payment. Income, $191,000 is required. That's the money. When they give them 20% down, they're going to want $130,000 down. I can't write that check. I'm not so sure too many people can. And you better have $191,000 in income. We can continue on with $800,000 house, $5,000 a month, $215,000. Let's go to that house that was shown to me in Carmel, Indiana. It was damn near touching $900,000. That's a $5,400 a month payment and a $237 annual salary. Pretty much that means both partners need to be making $115,000, $120,000 a year. They're out there. I'm not saying they're not. But you're looking at an 18-year duration to sell out in that community. We already talked about the home sales in Winfield, and that ends my presentation. So again, I was very excited leading into this meeting, working with Nick. Your staff is always great. I have no complaints. Nothing has changed other than the reconfiguration of this cul-de-sac, the pond enlarged. We all know what this brings in the community. That is larger home sites, $500,000 homes, a larger right-of-way from 109th all the way down to 117th. We dealt with the Graper Ditch, the subsurface drain tile in Aylesworth. We explained to those residents that we're eliminating, we all know that State Street and Benton Street floods. We're going to capture more of that in Aylesworth, which we did, to eliminate that water downstream. We're doing the same thing here, and that doesn't come free. I mean, it obviously takes a lot more infrastructure. Again, I didn't live in Illinois, I live in California. I live 4 miles from here. I have to see you at the local restaurants. I have to be in the office, and I told you before, I hope it's not my last one. I'm doing what we can, but the finances will not work, nor will the sales with $700,000. These are the homes we're proposing. We're looking at what the entrance would look like. And not to keep referring to my lunch yesterday, but it's very interesting. We all, God bless you, when we succeed and we make more money and we follow our passion. But that individual told me he lived in a starter home. That's the American dream. He established it. He conquered it. That's great. Some people can't even move on beyond that starter home. Some people can move up a little bit. But that starter home that he was referencing in the time frame that he lived in, I guarantee you, he probably purchased it for $220,000. That same home, I'm just paraphrasing, I'm not sure exactly, but knowing the builder and knowing the product, I would say in the area of $220,000. The house is probably worth $450,000, $475,000 today. Fortunately, he was able to move in to another home, a little bit greater than he currently lived in. That home they lived in was adjacent to this one. And then he made the final step to where he resides today. I don't know the value of that home, but I guarantee it's probably 3 or 4 times as much as the home he lived in was a starter home. Again, that's the American dream. That's what we take pride in and we achieve. But not everybody has that opportunity. And I strongly encourage you to reconsider that price point, if that's the temperature of this board. I don't know if it is. I was told it was. And if it is, I take umbrage of not being told that 204 days ago, because I'm going to waste $450,000. I open this for dialogue. I apologize about my emotions, Dave. If you go back 5 years ago, I think we had boxing gloves on, because it's a tough business, but I'm here to work with you. Appreciate the time to open any questions you may have.
Thank you. Do we have any questions?
Make a motion to defer.
There is a motion to defer. Is there a second?
For further discussion.
For further, motion to defer for further discussion.
I'll make that second. I mean, it seems like that we're not connecting with Lennar at this point in time. So with that being said, I think it's in our best interest that we reconsider what they're proposing to us and what we really want as a community. So,
Mr. President, if I may interject 1 second, please, and I apologize, I don't like doing this during a vote. Going back to the timeline, I'm under contract, and I've been very patient working in cooperation with that seller. A deferral could easily derail our timeline with that, and this whole thing could easily end tomorrow if we're not on track with our timeline. Can I kindly ask the reason for the deferral?
There's a motion.
There's a motion and a second. I'm obligated to abide by that. So, hearing all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
nay. I'd nay it.
Okay, so motion carries 5-2. Thank you for your time. At this time, we will take on item number 4. Unless petitioner would like to, is there any request for that, or do you want to go through item number 4 this time?
I'd like to go through item number 4.
Okay, item number 4, request for public hearing, docket PC 2025-12, primary plat approval for Huron Landing, 146 lots. This is for the owner, Donald Gray. Again, the petitioner is Lennar, vicinity of 5510 East 117th Avenue. This is for primary plat approval.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the record, Todd Clevin, Vice President of Land. Lennar Homes, our offices reside at 1700 East Gulf Road, and I personally reside at 250 East 123rd Place in Crown Point. As I indicated, if the record could please take in all of my comments and all of my responses to any questions whatsoever on the previous petition, I'd like to enter those into the record on this petition. Furthermore, with that, while I have the floor, I'd like to ask if this one is going to be deferred, if there's any communication as to why.
Are there any comments from the board? Any questions?
Make the same motion to defer.
So this is how we're going to do business in Winfield? I don't get any feedback? $450,000 later, I stand up here with no answers? I don't understand this, Dave.
Made the motion.
What happened between now and the TAC meeting that we had? We answered everything you said in the TAC meeting. We had a conversation outside. You said, hey, you're on board, we're on track.
Sir, well, there's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Well, Todd, I think that we don't have a meeting of the minds here, and I'm going to go ahead and second this, but with that being said, is obviously we have some concerns, and it's apparent that Dave wants to readdress this. And with that being said, I'm going to comply with that and give him that opportunity to readdress you and Lennar and have the town look at this again.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay. Nay.
Nay. So that motion does carry 4-3. Thank you. Moving on to item number 5. This is a discussion item, residential development, Boyer Properties, Inc., vicinity of Randolph and 123rd. If you could just hold on one moment while they clear the podiums here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Bruce Boyer, Boyer Properties, and with me tonight is Doug Reddy from DVG and Harley Snyder. We are here tonight to reintroduce to you a development located at the northeast corner of Randolph and 123rd. This is a unique piece of property in that while it's within the town of Winfield, it's also within the Lakes of Four Seasons development. The property consists of a 78-acre parcel that's presently zoned C3 commercial. We are looking to rezone that into a single-family residential planned unit development. Right now, you have a packet and the drawings. The site plan shows the west end of the property to be 74 lots of single-family custom-built homes. We anticipate the price of those to be between $750,000 and $800,000. The east end of the property is a separate area of a age-restricted, 55 and above, smaller density, single-family homes. On 55-foot lots. We are proposing a new main entrance, a gated entrance on Randolph Street. Again, this is part of Lakes of Four Seasons, so it is a gated community. It will remain a gated area of that. And this is the last remaining parcel of land within Lakes of Four Seasons that's undeveloped. We have included turn lanes and passing blisters on Randolph Street. And I'd like to point out that, again, this is zoned commercially, but with our proposed development, the assessed valuation of this project will be about $120 million. So it's a substantial increase into the town. It is planned to use Winfield sewers and Indiana American Water. If you have any questions regarding development, Doug certainly can answer. But we're here to listen to your comments and questions. We were here before you about 8 months ago. We had quite a bit higher density. We had 263 units. We now are 194. That's a reduction of over 35%. And our density right now sits at about 2.4.
And again, this is just a discussion item at this point. There's no formal request for anything. So are there
Just
any
discussion.
Yeah, are there any questions about the board?
Is this Four Seasons or Winfield?
It's in the town of Winfield, but it sounds like the Four Seasons owns the property and they plan on intending and including this into the development.
It's very unique. It's within Lakes of Four Seasons. It will remain part of the gated community of Lakes of Four Seasons. But we're here before you tonight because it is also within the town of Winfield.
I'll just say from, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't understand how, if it's part of Four Seasons and us, who's going to hold the primary concerns of all these citizens?
I'm sorry if you could speak into the
goes
microphone a little bit.
I'm trying to figure out, we don't have anything to do with Lakes of the Four Seasons, and this is their property, correct?
That's correct.
All right, so, but you're coming to us for approval?
We have to. You're within the
Not
town.
within our vicinity, correct? That's
I'm confused by this one.
It's,
Within the municipal boundaries of the town of Winfield.
We annexed everything outside of the gate.
All right.
it's a unique situation.
Yeah, and I would just say from, this is just an opinion, that, I'm sorry.
Please.
Just, an opinion. So, we're supposed to represent the citizens of Winfield. To your point, it is unique. I'm not really for having it connect to Four Seasons. If it were to be a standalone Winfield project, because there are citizens of Winfield, whereas the rest of Four Seasons is not, it's county, then maybe we continue the conversations, but I'm really not for any connectivity to Four Seasons. That's my opinion.
It has to be a part of Lakes of Four Seasons. It is within their boundaries. It is within their domain.
They can sell it.
I'm sorry?
They can sell it. They can put
They
it
are
up for
selling
sale.
it, but the property remains in Lakes of Four Seasons.
Right. They could sell it and just say, okay, developer A, come buy it. You guys, as a developer, could come buy it and they could write off and say it's not part of Four Seasons. I mean, they can do that.
So the proposed connection, is that through a vacant lot there in the Four Seasons?
Yes, well, that's currently an access point into the maintenance facility, which is in the center of the property. So that will remain, that'll be the connection point into Lakes of Four Seasons. It's an existing connection, it'll remain as is. We also have an emergency access on the south side of that area that will remain to 123rd. But again, the main entrance, we would like to be off of Randolph Street at with a gated entrance there, similar to what's on 117th. And this will relieve some of that congestion, we believe also for 117th that exists today.
Quick question, how is it going to be governed, being that it's Lake of the Four Seasons and the town of Winfield?
Could you speak into the microphone, please? It's difficult to hear with the utility room right here.
I'm sorry?
It's difficult to hear you with the utility room right here behind us, so if you could speak into the microphone, we appreciate it.
Question is, how is it going to be governed, being the fact that the town of Winfield obviously has some control over this, and you're saying Lakes of the Four Seasons has some control on this. Now, obviously, we share the same fire department, but we have separate police departments. I'm not even sure if you have a police department other than sheriff's. Now, how do you incorporate being part of Winfield, but yet being part of Lakes of the Four Seasons? How are we going to govern that? Where's there going to be the connection and the divide?
This property is part of Lakes of Four Seasons. It is governed by the Homeowners Association of Lake of Four Seasons. It's within their covenants and restrictions. It has always been that way. I'm sorry? It's part of their homeowners association. It is again, it's unique that we have to come before you for planning issues and building issues, but it remains part of the Lakes of Four Seasons Homeowners Association. They do not have a police force, they have a security force. The fire protection remains as like the rest of the Four Seasons. Everything else remains just as it exists now as Lakes of Four Seasons. So the town actually gets quite a benefit. Again, you're getting $120 million of assessed valuation and really not providing a lot of services. We've agreed to tie into the sewer, and who will pay those sewer?
That's our sewer though, right?
It'd be our sewers.
Yeah.
It'd be our police.
I mean, you have your own filtration plant for Lakes of Four Seasons, correct?
Well, yes, yeah.
But you're going to be tapping into our
We're going to
sewer.
tap into the town. That was part of our agreement and discussion with staff, was that we would tap into the town's sanitary.
Like I said, I'm just interested in Winfield projects and the Four Seasons projects. Yep, move it from Winfield.
He's suggesting just so you guys,
Oh,
he's suggesting
de-annex it?
de-annexing.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that.
We already have stuff sitting out there, just because it's outside of the fence.
I like it.
Another thing, you had mentioned the 50-foot or 55-foot lots. What size of home are you planning to put on that size of a lot?
We haven't quite developed that yet. I think you're going to be in the 1,800 square foot range, 2,000 square foot range, or something like that.
Well, that kind of falls really short of what we're expecting out of a lot, isn't it, for Winfield?
Well, again, this is a special section, which is an age-restricted area that is a zero maintenance section. And with our discussions with the board and with the citizens of and residents of Lake of Four Seasons, that was an item that...
Well, just to cut you off there, see, there's already a conflict. We're asking for 70, 75, 80, you're saying 55. Right off the start, we have a conflict about lot sizes.
I understand that, but again, this is a unique community within Lakes of Four Seasons and within Winfield. Again, it's a zero maintenance.
Well, let's throw out the word unique and just make it part of Winfield.
Okay?
75-foot lots, 80-foot lots.
We're not asking for anything that doesn't exist already within Winfield. You have 55-foot lots, you have 75-foot
Our newer
lots.
proposed subdivisions are not 55 any longer. We're asking for 75, 80.
I understand that. Again, and this fits the character of Lakes of Four Seasons, so we've tried to balance the two. Most of the lots...
I'm not seeing the character there. I'm telling you that 55 is not acceptable.
But you have approved those in the past.
That could be, but today, we're not.
I understand, no, that's why we're asking for a plan unit development.
I know I said it before about the entrance onto Randolph, that I was not a fan.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I said it before that I was not a big fan of the entrance onto Randolph. Dumping more traffic exactly onto there, right where you're at. If you looked at putting it onto, what's that, 123rd, that would ease a little bit more. But dumping it more onto Randolph, right there, I said it last time. I don't know if you remember my comments, but my comments still stay the same
Okay.
on that.
We
So
understand.
as long as it's on Randolph, I can't justify putting more on there. You've seen how Randolph is, and until we get even the roundabout at 117th, that'll ease up a lot of the traffic, but even that right there, dumping the cars that are going down to the school, and I can't justify it.
Well, again, in our discussions with the staff, we thought that would help to relieve some of the congestion there at 117 by adding another entrance onto Randolph. We can certainly take a look at relocating that.
That'll put the same amount of traffic onto Randolph. It's not gonna.
That's on Randolph.
Yeah.
Relieve some of the congestion at Randolph and 117.
At that intersection, it won't alleviate anything on to Randolph though, in my opinion.
We can take a look at
Okay.
accommodating that. Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, any other comments? I tend to agree with Joe. I think the model, and you saw this in the presentations before you, are wider lots, start at 70, if not 75. I highly doubt, and again, I'm not an engineer, but these 25 to 30 lots that are right over this water are gonna even be buildable. That's an awful lot of work, it looks like, on the North Pond, or whatever this area is. Looks like you may not end up with 192, you may end up with 140 or 150.
What is that?
It looks like water.
So what is that?
Yeah.
We're talking the north.
Let me explain.
That north area right there.
Those are sedimentation basins for the dredging of the lake and Lake of the Four Seasons. They're not ponds, they were bermed, and they just pump dredgings into there to let the sediment settle out. So they're not wetlands, they're man-made basins for the dredging of the lake, which they don't really utilize anywhere near that extent of it. So it's not what you think it is, it's not bad ground.
That's what both of those are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Been there for years. Again, they built dikes around them. It's not like they were excavated. It's just.
Okay, so
Water.
maybe they are suitable,
But
just
we believe-
something I'm looking at that.
But it's a fair question.
But again, I do agree with Joe, the wider lots, that's what we're looking for. It is very confusing with the government and municipalities and the boundary lines. I completely understand how this can get confusing, just to a resident living in here. I live in Winfield, but I live in the Four Seasons, and it's very confusing, to say the least. So, that's all I got.
I pay my POA dues. I pay my POA dues, and then I pay my.
And your taxes.
And my taxes. So,
And-
which one supersedes the other at the end of the day? That part I don't understand. That's more of a legal thing at the end of the day.
So Winfield
Yeah.
PD would be responsible for
Yeah,
this.
county will not show up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
The HOA of Lake Four Seasons is responsible for all the infrastructure, installing it, plus the road maintenance, plus everything, the snow plowing, everything is done by the
Understand.
HOA of Lake Four Seasons.
Well, actually, would it be? Because you would have to build the streets to our certifications, they would have to be wide.
That's
correct.
Sidewalks.
Sidewalks,
Correct.
everything would have to be, so technically, I'm not really sure on that.
Again, the uniqueness of this, we have to build to your specifications, but it's going to be maintained by Lake Four Seasons.
Hence why I said, Winfield, anyway, I don't agree.
Why couldn't this be settled with some type of MOU agreement? I think it makes sense for now, so it's activate. Seems to me that settlement MOU between the municipality.
I would say look, you're always free to bring it before and get a vote on it, if that's what you want to do. But what I would say is, in general, is that you don't want to waste your money, which is why we're having these discussion sessions. So, it's not just that about MOUs, it's about what we want. You saw in the last one, these homes, even age restricted, probably wouldn't fly.
So being in the municipality of Winfield, is the Winfield residents allowed to use the open spaces in here?
In this piece, it would have to be developed, and there would have to be an MOU agreement, right? And that would have to be developed.
I guess that's what I'm saying, is so a resident across the street would go through this gate to use a park in here.
I mean, some of that stuff can be worked out. Obviously, there'd have to be a lot of legal review, but honestly, that's the last part of the process.
Understood.
Like, you guys gotta figure out if this is a development that complies with your standards and something that you guys would entertain approving. If
Right.
it gets to that point, certainly, there would be some contractual documents that have to be worked out, and it certainly wouldn't be an MOU, because I can tell you, Attorney Austin would probably send me out the door if I came back and told him that we need to write an MOU, because, as he has told me many times, they're not worth the paper they're written on.
Again, and I'm looking far down the road, I understand, but I'm looking at any resident in Winfield that says, I can get in here and then come through the front gate, and I can just only imagine what the current residents are thinking, like, you know, what's the point of this gate? What's the point of this?
Again, it's a terribly unique situation. We've tried to, between our last meeting of introducing this and working with Nick and the staff, we tried to find the balance between the requirements of the town of Winfield as well as the requirements of the homeowners association and the compatibility of this development to what exists in Lakes of Four Seasons and versus what's required by Winfield. It's been not an easy process, but we've come a long way, and we'd like to see it go forward.
Are there proposed any type of amenities for the residents?
Yeah,
Or are you just saying that the lake is the,
No, there's a
the
park-
lakes are the
There's a
amenities?
park site right in the middle of the property.
Right.
There's a cell tower there, you can't see it on the drawing, right north of the
Circle,
cell tower.
the
is-
square in the circle,
Yep.
outlet
So
A?
That's the cell tower, just north of that is all park.
Okay, outlet B.
Yeah. And we are doing curb gutter sidewalks, you know, just like per town standards.
And does that maintenance facility stay?
Yes. It'll be figured out onto an outlot, you know, because that is their maintenance facility.
I know, but we're building homes around a maintenance facility.
Some of you might remember, we actually had to approve that.
A facility?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it fell in the town
Mhm.
at that point.
Yeah, I remember that. That's right when I started.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It was one of those unique situations where they had to bring it to us because it technically was in the town.
Mr. Duffy, do you recall when that approval went through, was there any discussion about development around this maintenance facility at that time?
I couldn't tell you. I don't remember anything about it. I do remember there was some discussion about how they were going to get to it, and that's why the road goes in internal.
Is there any other questions at this time? Do you have any questions for us?
Not at all. We'd like to continue working with Nick and staff and see if we can answer some of your questions and concerns.
Okay, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And that concludes our agenda. Do we have anything to add? Deb? Nick, anybody? No. Mike, John? Been very quiet over there. Okay. Motion by Dave to adjourn. Anyone? Second. And a second. Thank you very much for coming in.